This call is being recorded.
There are plenty of difficult obstacles in your path. Don't allow yourself to be one of them. I'm going to read that one again. There are plenty of difficult obstacles in your path. Don't allow yourself to become one of them. Tonight's call is called Get Out of Your Own Way. This is episode number 15 or call number 15. First of all, I want to thank you guys for coming on the call. If you want to go back and re-listen to tonight's call or you want to share it with someone, you can call the call-in number 718-867-6700. Once again, it's 718-867-6700. You can find tonight's episode as well as all the old episodes on www.powerinahalfhour.com. We're also on iTunes and a bunch of other places. Anyone, I know we have a lot of overseas listeners that can't call in, that listen to the playback. If you want to reach me and you might not be on Facebook, go ahead and you can send me, or anyone on the call could send me an email at powerinAhalfhour@gmail.com. Once again, it's powerinAhalfhour@gmail.com. If we're not friends on Facebook and you're on Facebook, go ahead and friend request me. My name on Facebook is Mark, M-A-R-K, Star, S-T-A-R-R. All right, for those of you that are not, you guys know how much I advocate reading. I have about 1,000 books at my house. I'm probably reading about 4 or 5 books at any given time. And if you're not reading on a consistent basis, I definitely suggest that you do. And if you're not a part of a reading club, I suggest that you join a Lady Named Pearl's book club. Next Sunday, the 25th, we'll be discussing Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements, phenomenal book. I read it a couple of years ago. In the group, in the Facebook group, I think Pearl put the link to the audio. So for those of you that don't want to actually read the book and you want to listen to the audio, it's actually in the Facebook group and you can catch it there. Last announcement is to sign up for my daily message service, Be Better Daily. Text BETTERDAILY to 411247. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Last week we talked about being resilient, which is the ability to bounce back or recover quickly from difficulties. Now, everyone that has achieved a great amount of success has had to be resilient. Success demands resilience. Last week, I shared with you a few very successful people that was able to overcome obstacles and remain resilient, regardless of what life threw at them. Because those stories so inspired so many of you, I talked to so many of you guys after the call last week, and a lot of you were blown away by those stories. I decided that I was going to share a few more with you this week before we go in. Number one, Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors of all time. He developed many devices that influenced life around the world during his time and during our time. Some of Edison's inventions was the phonograph or the record player. For some of you younger people, you might not know what a record player is. Came before the CDs, but that was a pretty huge invention. The motion picture camera. Without Edison, we wouldn't have movies. We wouldn't have TV. The electric light bulb, and probably to me what would be the most important is he's the one that actually created the electricity system. So he's the one that allowed electricity to come into our homes. Guess what someone told him? Edison was told he was too stupid to learn anything by one of his early teachers. What was that teacher's name? Exactly. Nobody knows and nobody cares. Number two, Walt Disney. Phenomenal businessman, cartoonist, and filmmaker. Walt Disney won 22 Academy Awards. He received 4 honorary Academy Awards and 7 Emmy Awards. He and his staff created Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy, and he was the first original voice of Mickey Mouse. He's the co-founder of the Walt Disney Company, who are the creators of Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Now, pretty much every kid in America has been to Disney World or Disneyland. In 1919, he was fired from the Kansas City Star because he lacked imagination and they said he had no good ideas. Would you like to know who his boss was that fired him? Probably not. Okay, now this is one of the greatest examples of perseverance that I have ever heard of. So Soichiro Honda. Soichiro Honda was a broke student who had a dream to design a piston ring that he could sell to the Toyota Motor Company. He would go to school in the daytime and work on his idea all night. After developing his idea for years, he took it to the Toyota and they rejected his idea after he'd been working on it for all these years. Now, he was laughed at by his friends, families, and his teachers for designing something stupid that no one would want. He spent 2 more years improving the design, and then Toyota finally bought it. But guess what? The story doesn't end there. Mr. Honda now needed a factory to build the piston rings, and he needed concrete, but Japan was getting ready for World War II, so none was available. Guess what? He didn't quit. He found a new way to manufacture concrete and finally built his factory. But guess what? The story doesn't end there. During World War II, his factory was bombed by the U.S. Honda still didn't quit. He had his employees gather the fuel cans that the U.S. planes were dropping. They were raw materials that he could use for manufacturing, and they couldn't get those in Japan. That's what you call making lemonade out of lemons. He found some good in a bad situation. After his factory had been bombed, guess what happened to him now? An earthquake hit his factory and ended up totaling it. So he just got bombed, his factory just got bombed, and right after it got bombed, they had an earthquake. Completely leveled his factory. Now, Mr. Honda had no money, no business, no place to live, and couldn't afford gas to go to the grocery store. You think he quit? You guys know the end of the story. He didn't quit. Mr. Honda then asked himself a very important question. How can I use what I already have to get to where I want to go? Now, when you guys ask yourself questions, your subconscious has to find the answers for it. That's what we call inspiration, being inspired. Now, the idea that hit him was to attach a small lawnmower engine to his bicycle. He created the first motorized Honda bike, which later became the multi-billion-dollar Honda Motor Company. Now, wow. Isn't that a phenomenal story of perseverance? Look at all the stuff that happened to this guy, and he never quit. He kept going. You know why? Because he had a strong belief within himself that he knew what his destiny was. Now, so as you guys can see from these few examples, every road to success is filled with obstacles and work. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. We'll say that again. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. And the biggest obstacle that many of us will face on our road to success is, guess what? Ourselves. So when we constantly block our own success, we are exhibiting self-defeating behaviors. Now let me explain what self-defeating behaviors are. They're automatic or chronic behaviors which you engage in without much thinking that mess up your deeper goals in return for temporary relief. Self-defeating behaviors are distress relievers. Now, stress and distress relievers are completely different. Stress occurs when your mental, physical, psychological, and emotional faculties are under pressure from a challenge, a setback, or some adversity. Now, despite what you guys have been told, stress is a good thing, or stress can be a good thing. Stress helps you to grow, sharpen your skills, and perform increasingly better under pressure. Now, how many times did you guys wait to the last minute to do a project, and then now you got all this stress on you? Guess what? It made you better. Now you had to step up. You had to step up to complete that project. Now, let me explain what distress is. Distress occurs when the pressure in any of these areas is so overwhelming that your